We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. This is a big one, a Lexus LX 570 SUV. Here's our side view and the rear. If this resembles a Toyota Land Cruiser to you, it's not by accident. Mechanically, underneath, it's a Toyota Land Cruiser. On the outside, though, being a Lexus, fancier exterior, fancier interior, and a slightly larger price tag. The Toyota starts at $85,860. This Lexus $91,825 plus options. And here's the total tab of this rig. Now I can understand charging an extra $1,700 for the leather interior, or an extra $2,000 for the rear DVD players. You want your guests to be entertained, right? Or an extra $2,400 for the Smart Levinson stereo system. On the other hand, if we open the back, it's nice to have a carpeted cargo mat in the back, but charging an extra $105 on the option sheet on a $100,000 vehicle. Come on, guys, this should be standard. Is there really anyone out there who bought one of these Lexuses and didn't get the cargo mat? And $150 for a heated steering wheel. Again, shouldn't this be standard? I'm not picking on Lexus here. All the luxury brands have a way of adding little options to jack the price up. The Germans are definitely the worst at that. I just think when you're getting near $100,000, there shouldn't be that many options. Just my opinion. Since I have the rear hatch open, these are what the third row seats look like. They fold up to the side. Saves me the trouble of coming back a second time in this video. On other Lexus models, they charge up to $1,500 for these fancy LED headlights. Fortunately, these are standard, and we're going to take them out to see how they perform. We're going to do that right now. It's dark enough. Let's take these headlights out and see how they do. Look pretty bright to me. Here we have the headlights on a building 100 feet away. Very bright, very wide. Go to high beam. Wow. And that's a full moon up there, not a light. Here we have the brights on a building 300 feet away. Very powerful beam. Good wide spread. About as good as it gets. Go to low beam. Reaches out just fine. These are very excellent, powerful headlights. No complaints whatsoever. Under the hood is a 5.7 liter V8 rated at 383 horsepower. Hooked to an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters located on the steering wheel where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do where they do not belong. There's your fuel economy rating. It's not a hybrid, that's for sure. Now this is basically the same 5.7 liter V8 used in the Toyota Tundra truck and the Toyota Land Cruiser SUV. However, there's a few things you need to know, so pay attention. The Toyotas using this engine require 87 octane regular gas. Here it requires premium fuel, 91 octane, verified by the owner's manual. So what's the difference? Well, 383 horsepower for this and 381 horsepower for the Toyotas. That's it, 2 horsepower difference. So the question is, if you use standard unleaded in this engine, will you damage it? Well, I talked to Lexus about this. Their position is, do what the owner's manual says, which says use premium. So that's what I have to tell you to do. On the other hand, I've talked to individuals who've used regular on these engines without an issue, so I'll just leave that up to you. I'm going to use premium because I was told to. It's not my vehicle. We'll just leave it at that. We'll be racking up a lot of miles on this vehicle to get the real world fuel economy, but this is what I've been getting in the city thus far. And here's the outside temperature I'm dealing with. For everyday driving, there's a control knob on the console, normal. Then you have Sport, Sport Plus to liven up the suspension, shift points, and steering. And for those who worry about fuel economy, there's the Eco mode. I don't think it's going to work very well on a 6,000 pound vehicle like this, putting out just under 400 horsepower. But the eco mode is there if you're interested. I'm not. And for driving on the street, you have the joystick, which starts off with a big navigation screen, or the usual menus. By the way, there's plenty of room in the glove box, but only if you take out this monster-sized owner's manual and toss it in the back somewhere. By the way, this vehicle had an indoor refrigerator. You turn it on by pressing this, and it can keep your sandwiches nice and cold for you. Interesting. So, question of the day, are we going to take this $100,000 vehicle out off-roading? Well, you'd better. That's what it's intended for. Like I said, underneath it's the same as the Toyota Land Cruiser, and it is made for going out in the sticks, and has all the knobs and controls to do so. So let's see what we have. Four-wheel drive high, four-wheel drive low. Different modes for mud, sand, whatever. Crawl control, locking differentials. And over here on the right, the air suspension that can be raised or lowered. All the same type of goodies we get on Land Rovers, except this won't be falling apart when the warranty goes out. Oh, did I say that? I'm such a bad person. So you take this Lexus off-road in a desolate place like this, you'll have all the equipment on your vehicle to get there and back. We'll be doing some off-roading later on in the video, so don't go away. We're done with the first half of the video, which is the show and tell segment. Now we're going to go out and do some driving and get some fuel economy figures. This V8 is a very strong engine, regardless of whether it's used in the Toyota or the Lexus. On the other hand, we're pulling over 3 tons of weight, so you will not be laying any rubber when you hit the accelerator, that's for sure. The only thing moving quicker is the fuel gauge. Good thing we've got nice brakes. Does a great job of hauling down all this weight. This has a soft ride if you put it in the comfort mode. We're going to take some speed bumps to demonstrate that. Doing around 25 miles per hour. Pretty smooth. Now we're doing 30 miles per hour at the second bump. Third. And here comes the big nasty one. Pretty comfy. The only drawback in the comfort mode is the power steering has no feel, kind of sloppy in my opinion, and actually if you put it in the sport mode it's a slight improvement, only marginally better. You just have to get used to it. By the way, the screen will always tell you what mode you're in. Like so. So, should we take this in our sports car turning circle and see if we can spin it out? It's in the sport mode, by the way. A lot of body lean. Well, that's okay for 3 tons of mass. Oops. Got some cargo sliding around in the back. We're going to reset the computer and do a long highway trip. And by the way, according to the computer, June, July, August, September, 4 months of driving, the best MPG was 14.6. We're going to take a freeway trip of approximately 140 miles from 1,800 feet elevation to around 6,000 feet elevation. I'm estimating our fuel economy to be around 15 to 16 miles to the gallon, but we'll see. It brings up the question why I'm even doing this fuel economy test anyway. I mean, anyone who spends 100 grand for this vehicle, do they really care about the fuel economy? Well, if you do, you'll find out here. We're coming to the end of our trip. We're going to pull over and see what our fuel economy reading is. Well, there you go, 15.7 mpg. Not bad considering all the climbing we were doing. Stay tuned if you want to see the results for the return trip. That's enough freeway driving. Now we're going to take this off-road. That's what it's designed for, remember? This is my favorite town in the area, Willowa. Population 1, just me. There's my secret hideaway. All the comforts of home, a nice warm fireplace for those cold nights. And in the summertime, a great air conditioning system. Very energy efficient. A bit more energy efficient than this gas-guzzling tank I'm driving anyway. I'm told the railroad stops here like once every 10 years. I'm not waiting around to find out. I'm in the mood for a steak. Why don't you come in, I'll give you a ride. Every time I say the word steak, all the cattle disappear. Not a one in sight. Wonder why that is. One good thing about this Lexus model, it has Gobs ground clearance, so you're not going to hit any rocks when you're going down nasty trails like this. But then again, like we said in the beginning of this video, this is a Land Cruiser underneath. I can believe that. Excellent off-road ability. Well, after 25 miles of driving, we finally made it. And this is what the beginning of the Grand Canyon looks like. No tourists around anywhere. Well, it looks like we got a full moon coming out of the clouds tonight. That would explain the vampire bat circling my head right now. And some howling down the ravine. Maybe I'll end up being somebody's dinner and you'll never see me again. We won't be doing any four-wheeling tonight, so I'm going to huddle up next to this fire to stay away from the bats and the man-eating coyotes. And maybe we'll see you in the morning. Got these funny two bites on my neck. I wonder what that's about. The advantage of a large SUV holds a large amount of gear. As soon as we get to the top of the hill, we're going to pull over and see what our fuel economy's been for this off-roading gig. Let's see. $12.5, not bad. One of the disadvantages of a white SUV, though, is sometimes they will not fit through a gate because they're too wide. I don't think we're going to have a problem here at the moment. If you're going for a wheeling in a desolate area like this, you want a reliable vehicle like a Toyota or a Lexus. Otherwise, you might break down and end up like our little friends here with their bleached bones. Should have bought the Toyota or Lexus, guys. That's been about 7 years since I visited the old family homestead, which is falling apart, full of rattlesnakes. And I put that skull here about 10 years ago, and it's still there. Amazing. I think we need some new furniture. Maybe I should go down to Home Depot and IKEA. This is enough off-road fun. Time to head home and wrap up this video. By the way, this compass sure comes in handy. This is going to be our last fuel economy test. Our return trip from 6,800 feet elevation to 1,800 feet elevation. Approximately 135 miles. So here's our reading, 140 miles going downhill, 20.3. Before that, it was 140 miles going uphill at 15.7. Add them up, divide by 2. I think that puts us around 18 miles per gallon. Not bad for a 6,000-pound rig. And it looks like we hit our 600-mile goal. Time to wrap up this video. So after 1 week of driving and 600 miles on the clock, what's my take on this Lexus? Well, here's the way I look at it. If you can afford the high price tag of the Toyota Land Cruiser, you can afford to upgrade $5 grand extra for this Lexus. Why not drive in style? And here's some links to other vehicles we've driven lately. Just click and watch and hopefully subscribe.